Hey guys, welcome back to another video here, and in this video we're going to be making some snake racks to replace this one and also a new hatchie rack. So as you guys can see, I'm actually back in my Northern Beaches home with my in-laws, and unfortunately this is the last lot of animals that I'm actually going to be taking out of this place. They've been here for a little while just because I've been saving up a bit of money just to get some materials for my new snake rack that's going to be going into that same room as Loki. Now I'm going to be doing something a little bit different than making essentially just like a melamine snake rack. I'm actually going to be using form ply and some threaded rod to kind of make a bit of an older style snake rack that's a little bit more adjustable and a little bit more fine tunable. Probably hear that everybody's firing up the tools this morning. So I'm going to be using form ply sheets. These sheets are 1200 by 600 millimeters, and I'm going to be using threaded rod as the kind of supports to make the sheets all stand on top of each other, as well as a series of nuts just to be able to tie them all in and kind of just secure them all to the right sort of heights. Now, I do have to rip down these sheets a little bit because the tubs that are here are about the metre mark, and those sheets are obviously about 1.2, so I need to dock them down a little bit just to make them a little bit shorter. And yeah, what I'll probably end up doing is just ripping out that bottom tub because that's empty at the moment, giving that a good measure just so I can make sure that everything's going to fit properly. We're going to go from there. So it turns out I'm going to be making the snake rack a little bit shorter. I've only been using the top 5 tubs in this snake rack, and the bottom one's been pinched in for a long time because this snake rack was water damaged a long time ago when the roof actually had a bit of a leak in it. You can see a lot of the melamine's actually swollen up pretty horribly. These 5 top tubs have been fine. They've been tracking on okay, but that bottom tub's been seized in there for a long time. I managed to try to get it out then, but the downside is I managed to crack the damn thing. So unfortunately, I've lost the tub. So I might still make it a 6 tub high rack and just see if a friend or something's got a spare one of these old Bell's tubs around, just because they are good tubs and I want to have a spare one there. So I think I'll just stick to the plan. I'm still going to be able to use this as kind of like a measuring tub just to make sure that the timber's going to be the right size and all the rest of it. But yeah, pretty disappointed. These things cost about 30 bucks each, so that sucks. Okay, so I'm going to get on and rip about 19 centimeters off the face of these boards. And that should allow me enough room for these tubs to get in and out, and the threaded rod to have enough room side to side as well. So yeah, gonna go get the circular saw right into it and get stuck in. So the next step's actually going to be to drill a series of holes for the threaded rod to fit through. I'm going to be using a big 12mm drill bit for this because the threaded rod is 12mm. So it's just important to obviously get the right size bit for the right size job. And what I'm going to do is, originally I had a plan to kind of stack them all on top of each other and drill just straight down through it. I think there's a couple of things that could go wrong there. If I manage to skew-if the hole or something like that, because I'm only doing it by hand, not with a drill press, and that can kind of put the whole rack at a bit of a canter. But what I might end up doing is doing it on one piece, using that as a guide sheet, and then essentially just clamping the next pieces onto it, and then going from there, re-drilling piece by piece. So I'm going to be doing 7 holes in total on these form ply boards. So it'll be 3 down each edge, and there's going to be 1 at the back just to stop the tubs actually coming out the back at all. Okay, so for the next step from there, I'm going to be cutting up this rod. It's just a threaded rod, 12 mil. Yeah, I think I need to do it at a 1.25 metre length, and that'll just allow for enough height, probably a little bit of an excess height too, just for the nuts and bolts and everything to go onto it. But I think I need 7 lengths, so I'm going to get onto that. Just got a little 100 mil angle grinder that'll make that job nice and easy. So yeah, crack on. And yeah, always good to wear some sort of protection for this sort of stuff. I unfortunately can't find my earmuffs, but I'm at least going to be wearing some sunnies and non-flammable pants, because I have lit my pants on fire once from an angle grinder, and that wasn't a pleasant experience whatsoever. Okay, so we're back at the apartment now. You can see the Loki girls over there. This is the area that the snake rack's actually going to go. Now, it is going to be a little bit longer than this, and it is going to block off that wardrobe, so I'm just planning to put things that I don't really need so much to go into that wardrobe. And it's essentially going to just hang over there and kind of come out a little bit into the room. Not too much, just a little bit further than Loki's enclosure. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up now. Got my threaded rod over there. I'm going to bring the timber in. Going to get it going down here. Chuck the time lapse on and start nutting and bolting all of this together. So I should probably mention, guys, that the way that I'm going to be heating up this rack is just by heat mats. I didn't want to go and put all the effort into routing this particular build. I will on the next one, so I will show you how I go about doing that for a rack. I just wanted to keep this one super simple. Heat mats as well just means that these guys are going to have a bit more surface area that's actually warm. I actually found that the rack, albeit in a garage last time, wasn't getting quite warm enough for what I actually liked. It was during summer, but during winter I just wanted to have that little bit more control during the hotter periods of the day cycle. So for this one, I'm just going to be using a stack of heat mats. Another benefit to this is if I'm not using a tub for any particular reason, I can just pull the cord out from that heat mats and then I don't have to use it. And then it also means it saves me a little bit of electricity. And all I'm going to be doing to attach these is some good quality gaffer tape, cloth tape. This stuff I find super sticky and doesn't usually peel up too easily, so that's what I'm going to be doing. Let's whack this time lapse on and whack this thing together. Not gonna lie, guys, whilst this is a very practical way to make a rack and it's nice and sturdy, and you know, you can kind of adjust the shelves up and down by using these nuts, it takes a hell of a lot of time to wind all these things onto all these bars. So you could either use less bars. I didn't really want to. I wanted it to be super sturdy, you know, or you could do something else about it, but I've just got it propped up at the moment on a trolley and on a plastic tub that I've got spare, just so then when I go to put it in place, I don't have to lift the whole thing. I can just kind of nudge it on by myself. But yeah, my fingers are tired from winding these nuts on. But it is cool being able to kind of just adjust these perfectly so then the tubs just slide perfectly in and out. I think I need to adjust those back up that side. A little bit tight down here. But it's cool being able to have the option to do that. So, should the timber change over time at all, you can at least wind it up, wind it down, get it into the right position for your tubs. That's way better. Oh man, that honestly took way longer than I actually expected it to, but it is super handy having these nuts here just to be able to kind of really fine tune where you want these actual shelves to sit. As you can see, I am missing one because I broke that tub earlier, which I'm absolutely gutted about. But I have got the heat mat in there, so I'm doing a bit of a call around to a few friends now to see if anybody's got some spares. That's a pretty good little rack. I mean, for what it is, it was a pain to put all those nuts into place, but it's pretty sturdy. It's a good little thing. It's not going to go anywhere. And it also means that there's a little bit more light coming into the boxes too, just rather than having all of it just shut off with timber. But it's been a long day. So I'm going to get these snakes away and I'm going to go home and have a beer, because that sounds like the way that I should be spending my Sunday afternoon. So we'll see how we go here. I don't know who's in who. I kind of know who's going to go in where, but I do have a water python in this bag. No doubt pretty cranky, so there's one little firecracker there with a beautiful yellow belly. These little guys are stunning snakes. I'll let them go into there. I've had a pretty stressful day. I don't handle my water pythons all that often, so they're pretty nasty. I'm not gonna lie. Yep, female children's python. Whoa. You almost fell out, didn't you? She's a gorgeous little snake. We may have gotten some babies out from her as well, so we might have a look at those shortly in another video. I'll let her go into there to explore a new environment. So these are the last reptiles that I've actually got down at my in-laws' place, apart from the turtles, but I'm just waiting for my friend to build a pond, which he's on the road to doing. So yeah, it's pretty exciting to finally have all the reptiles up here, really. Got another water python. These waters are definitely not tame by any means. Only tiny tackers, but geez, they're quick. Good fun. Just feeling the weight of this bag. I think this is my stimmy. He's a bit of a chunky boy. Looks like my memory decided to fill up on my camera, but I managed to get my snakes in. So I got the stimmy in here, Severus. Trying out a bit of this hardwood chip for something a little bit different. I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, but thought I'd just trial it. And I also got my little male children's python in there too. Hello mate. It's so weird being able to open these tubs this far. This is so good. Where they were in the garage before was so cramped. Alright guys, so this is one way you can build a snake rack. We're going to try out a different one tomorrow for some hopeful hatchling snakes. So for that one we're going to actually route out the shelves and things and run heat cords in there versus doing the heat mat trick like this one. This one's going to serve a pretty good purpose. Hopefully I can find another tub for up the top there. We'll see how we go. But yeah, good to have these guys finally here. It's been a long time coming, and yeah, I'm almost reptile free down at my in-laws place, which is pretty exciting. All right, so it's another day, another dollar, and I got to get stuck into routing all these boards out. This little Azedo router's been with me through a hell of a lot of snake racks, that's for sure. So what I'm going to do is simply route 2 lines down each board, just parallel to each other, and that's for 2 rows of heat cord. So that should do us for this one. I've got a guide on as well, so you can kind of see how deep I'm going to go. I usually just wing this, to be honest. I'm going to put a tub on top of it just to kind of measure out and make sure that it is actually going to get underneath the tub, and if not I can adjust from there. And also with the depth of the router as well, it's going to be a little bit hard for me to show you while holding this, but it's only going to go in kind of about 10 mil or so, just so the heat cord's actually just sitting in there, so it's not actually going to route the whole panel off the actual board itself. So it's a good way just to kind of line it up is just put your tub on there and see where it's going to kind of sit. You can see there that it's going to be right on the back there, and I'm going to do one more row a little bit closer on this side as well. So right at the back end you should be able to have that really warm section of the tubs. Okay, so we've got one row done on all of the boards, and you can kind of just see here, I'm just demonstrating how the heat cord's actually going to sit in there. I like it to have a little bit of breathe room either side as well, just so it's not right up against the timber. This just allows for a little bit of air exchange in there. It warms up, and I'm going to tape this all down anyway with some gaffer tape. So something else that I'm going to do is just run the router up and down the edges just a little bit, just for the second row, because when we go to put this all together, some of these rows you might have to double back on with the heat cord. So I'm going to do that now, get those all notched out, and yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, so I'm just working out my measurements and just double checking everything, because the space that this is actually going into is inside of a wardrobe, and the maximum length I can do is 930 mil. Currently, as the tubs sit, that's 890 mil, so that's what I'm going to cut the shelves out themselves, and then I've got to allow 32 mil or thereabouts for the melamine boards either side of it, just to hold all the rack together. So that should put me about 927 mil. So it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze, but it should work, and I should be able to do 6 rows high, so it should be 24 tubs. So good little hatchy rack. So anyway, I'm going to cut all these shelves now, so we can finish doing a little bit of the routing work, and then we can start the construction. So this is just a rough way of kind of measuring up how tall I actually need the rack to be. I always kind of just extend it a little bit just to allow for a few mil on either shelf and stuff like that to allow for the tubs to slide in and out a little bit easier, plus the tape and everything for the actual heat cord. So I'd probably make this about 750 mil, and if it's a little bit taller, you know, like on the edges, it's not going to affect it where the rack's going at all. Of course you could make this a little bit more seamless, but this is just a way that I do it, and it's worked for me in the past. So we're going to go and cut the side pieces and then just finish the little routing on the edges. So I'll do the exact same thing as what I've got here. Just each row's got a little notch just in case the cord's kind of coming around, and then each row is going to have these little notches down as well, just because as the heat cord runs up the side, it bends in the corners, and it's nicer to just have that there just in case. So yeah, we'll just do that on each shelf. This is just going to be pretty easy too. I'm just literally going to pre-drill a whole bunch of screw holes, screw it all together, and as I go, I'm going to use the tubs as a bit of a guide as to how high this needs to be, and I'll probably find something just to wedge in there just to kind of bump it up a couple of mil, just so that they slide freely in there. Get stuck in, hey? So we're getting there. I've just gone and taped down this heat cord. Just used some white gaffer tape. It's a nice hardy cloth tape. This heat cord's actually got enough length to do 4 shelves. And as I said previously, I can't remember if I actually said previously, but I'm actually going to put 2 heat cords on this. So if I'm only using half the rack, I can actually turn the heat cord, one of the heat cords off, so then I'm not using extra electricity. Trying to be a little bit more conscious about that sort of stuff these days. But yeah, it's looking good. You know, these sliding in and out really easy. It's perfectly what I need. We will be putting a little backing on this as well. I've just got a sheet of white core flute up there that will just tack into place, just so you can't really push the tubs too far behind. But it's nice and sturdy, and yeah, not too far along, and we'll get this all into place. So guys, I got up here a little bit later than what I was expecting to, but I did get the rack into place. You'll be able to see it sneakishly behind here, on top of the bookcase there. So yes, it is inside of a wardrobe, but I am very limited on space, and this is just a way for me to be able to hopefully house some hatchies over the next few years of different pythons and potentially some geckos and things like that in there. We'll see how we go. But yeah, looks pretty good, pretty neat in there on top of the bookcase. So I'm pretty stoked with it at the end of the day. I've still got a lot of neatening up to do, but as you can see, the rack is in place. Got 24 tubs there, and I'll be able to fit another 3 on the top there. Also got some wicked posters happening above the computer down here. Got these ones here. This one was sent through by Josh Thompson. Massive thank you, Josh. That is an awesome poster. Absolutely looks killer up there too. Absolutely love it. But yeah, these ones here are coming along pretty good. Anyway guys, this is a bit of a longer video. Thank you for sticking around with me. Thank you for watching how to make these racks. Hopefully it gave you a couple of ideas. I know I can be a little bit ad lib as to how I'm screwing, where I'm screwing, all that sort of gear. So anyway, hopefully it gave you a bit of an idea, and I've banged them together. That's about the last of it now. I can just concentrate on the enclosures that I've actually got at hand here. Alright guys, so thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, make sure to comment down below, make sure to like the video, make sure to share it around if you can. Check me out on Teespring and Patreon as well, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take it easy.